Sara Blakely went from earning $200 as a waitress, selling fax machines door to door, and starting Spanx with just $5,000 to building a company valued at $1.2 billion, making her one of the top self-made female billionaires. Sara Blakely grew up in Clearwater, Florida, with big dreams of becoming a successful entrepreneur and making a difference in the world. She wanted to create something different that would help people feel better about themselves. Her father, an entrepreneur, always told her the key to success is failing as many times as you can. This idea of embracing failure and learning from it stayed with Sara as she pursued her goals. After college, Sara worked as a waitress, earning just $200 a week. Later, she sold fax machines door to door, but she didn't give up on her bigger dream. In 2000, frustrated by the uncomfortable undergarments on the market, she decided to create something better, something that would make women feel confident and comfortable. With just $5,000 in savings, she started Spanx. Sara faced rejection after rejection, but she never gave up. People told her that it was impossible, that she would never make it. Manufacturers told her, this is a small market, you'll never compete with the big brands. But Sara didn't listen. Instead of giving up, she decided to teach herself everything she could. She learned about patents, she researched fabric materials, and she spent hours on the phone with manufacturers until she found one willing to take a chance on her idea. She even created her own prototype and pitched it to retailers herself. Her big break came when she convinced a buyer at Neiman Marcus, a high-end department store known for featuring luxury brands, to stock Spanx. Sara explained how her product could help women feel more confident and comfortable in their own skin. The product sold out quickly, and soon more and more women wanted to buy it. Today, Spanx is a $1.2 billion brand, and Sara is one of the youngest self-made female billionaires. From $5,000 to a $1.2 billion company, Sara's story proves that no matter how small your start is, with determination and belief in yourself, you can turn your dreams into reality. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Embrace failure and redefine it. Sara Blakely's first big dream fell apart. She wanted to be a lawyer, but I basically bombed the LSAT, she said. Then she drove to Orlando to audition as Goofy at Disney World, only to be 2 inches too short for the role. That rejection hit rock bottom for her. And if it wasn't enough, she took a job selling fax machines and got doors slammed in her face every day. Sara remembers, people would rip up my business card in my face, a typical occurrence. It was brutal. Most people would have given up on big dreams at that point. But Sara had a different relationship with failure thanks to her dad. Growing up, her father would actually high-five her for failing. He'd ask at dinner, "What did you fail at this week?" If she had nothing, he'd be disappointed. Weird, right? But it taught her that failure isn't about the outcome at all. It's about not trying. She said failure became about not trying, not the outcome. That mindset shift was everything. It gave her permission to take risks and not fear the no. In fact, hearing no became just part of the process. Selling fax machines door to door trained her resilience. You have to hear no so many times before you actually can get to a yes, Sara says. Every rejection was making her stronger and bringing her closer to that eventual yes. So ask yourself, do you let the fear of failure stop you from trying? Sara's story proves that the only real failure is not trying at all. Start embracing those failures as learning reps. Each rejection, each setback is just feedback. It's making you stronger, teaching you something, preparing you for the next move. When you reframe failure this way, you become unstoppable. Sara often says this lesson from her dad was a real gift, and it's one you can give yourself too. So the next time something doesn't work out, don't shrink back, celebrate the attempt, learn the lesson, and say, next, I'm one step closer to my yes. Start small, solve a real problem. At 27, stuck selling office equipment, Sara had no background in fashion or business, but she did have an annoying problem. She hated how her pantyhose looked under white pants. One sweltering Florida day, getting dressed for a party, she grabbed scissors and cut the feet off her pantyhose. Suddenly, no seamed toes showing, no underwear lines. Problem solved. That little DIY moment was the birth of Spanx. It seems simple, but think about it. Sara found a billion-dollar idea by fixing something in her own life. And here's the crazy part. Sara actually wrote down this destiny before it happened. 2 years earlier, after a rough day of cold calls, she scribbled in her journal, "I'm going to invent a product that I can sell to millions of people that will make them feel good." She had no clue what that product would be, but she set the intention. Talk about thinking big while starting small. She kept selling fax machines for those 2 years, patiently waiting for the idea to strike. And when it did, when she saw her cut-up pantyhose actually worked, she recognized it instantly as the opportunity she'd been waiting for. As she later put it, I ended up writing that goal, and because I had set that intention, I immediately recognized the opportunity. She didn't hesitate. She literally pulled off to the side of the road and said, "This is it. This is the idea that I asked for." What can you learn here? First, ideas are everywhere, especially in the everyday annoyances that you face. Sarah's genius wasn't some fancy degree. It was noticing a problem that millions of women had and creating a scrappy solution. She started Spanx with just $5,000 in savings and a single prototype. No investors, no office, no experience. And as she says, I didn't know the first thing about the pantyhose industry. I had never taken a business class. But sometimes not knowing the rules is an advantage. She didn't know what wasn't possible, so she tried what others hadn't. You don't need millions of dollars or a PhD to start. You can start small. Test your idea with whatever you have. Sarah solved a real problem for herself, and it turned out millions of others wanted that solution too. So pay attention to frustrations, yours and other people's. Is there a solution that you can create? It might not make you a billionaire overnight, but it could be a great business idea. Spanx began in an apartment with one homemade prototype. As Sarah put it later, she had a vision of changing the way women feel about themselves, even though she was starting tiny. Dream big, but start with that first step. Don't wait for perfect. Solve a problem that you understand deeply, and you'll be onto something. Be persistent through the no's. So you have a great idea. Now what? For Sarah, the answer was hustle. She had her makeshift prototype and a ton of passion. But remember, no one in the industry took her seriously. Imagine this, 27-year-old Sarah drives to North Carolina alone to visit hosiery mills because that's where pantyhose were made. She starts cold calling factory owners. "Hi, I'm Sara Blakely, and I have an idea for footless pantyhose." You can guess how that went. Every single factory slammed the door on her. They were all run by older men who didn't get it. Sarah says they kept asking, "And you're with who? And you're backed by who?" She answered, "Sara Blakely and Sara Blakely." They showed her the door. She got rejected by every manufacturer for weeks. Here's where most people quit. But Sarah kept showing up. She took time off her day job, drove from plant to plant with her lucky red backpack, and refused to let the no's crush her spirit. Finally, 2 weeks after returning home defeated, she got a phone call. One mill owner had mentioned Sarah's idea to his daughters at dinner. His teenage daughters told him, "Dad, this idea is genius. Help that girl." He changed his mind and agreed to manufacture Spanx. Her persistence paid off. It only happened because she knocked on every door and didn't quit when it looked bleak. Even after she had a product, more rejection awaited. Sarah needed to get Spanx into stores. She managed to get a meeting with a buyer at Neiman Marcus, a big luxury department store. Now, Sarah is a born saleswoman. She knew she had to do something dramatic to stand out. In the middle of the meeting, she could tell she was losing the buyer's attention. So she literally took the woman to the ladies' restroom, changed into her Spanx undergarment right there, and modeled the product under white pants. The buyer could see how well it worked and say, "Yes, we'll try it." That's how Spanx first got on shelves. One store, Neiman Marcus, in 7 locations. After that, Bloomingdale's, Saks, and other stores followed suit. But the big break almost every entrepreneur dreams of came in 2000. Oprah Winfrey discovered Spanx and loved it. Oprah put Spanx on her famous favorite things list. Sales exploded. Sarah said that being chosen by Oprah was an awesome, validating moment. In fact, Spanx did $4 million in sales in its first year and hit $10 million the next year. Sarah could barely keep up with demand and finally quit her day job selling fax machines. All those no's turned into one huge yes, and it only happened because Sarah refused to give up. The lesson? Persistence is everything. Every entrepreneur hears no. Maybe you're hearing a lot of them right now. Investors not interested, customers not buying yet. Remember Sarah. She heard hundreds of no's, from managers to manufacturers to buyers. She just kept going to the next door, the next phone call, the next tactic. Use rejection as your fuel. Each no is data. It means try another angle, improve your pitch, or knock on a different door. Sara likes to say, every no is one step closer to a yes. It's not just a comforting quote. She lived it. And so can you. Be relentless. If you believe in your idea, keep pitching it until someone gives you a chance. The road to success is paved with rejections, but every rejection is also a stepping stone to that life-changing yes. Believe in your idea, even if others don't. One of the most powerful parts of Sara's story is how much she trusted her own gut, even when she had zero credentials in the field. She didn't run around seeking for other people's approval or permission. In fact, Sara kept her billion-dollar idea secret for a whole year while she developed it. Why? She later explained that she didn't want other people's doubts or negativity to cloud her vision in the vulnerable early stages. This is such a smart move. Sometimes your well-meaning friends or colleagues will say, "Are you sure? Sounds too risky." And they inadvertently talk you out of a great idea. Sara avoided that trap by believing in herself first. She sought feedback selectively once she had a prototype and momentum, not at the daydream stage. It also helped that Sara approached business with fresh eyes. Yes, she had no experience in fashion or retail or manufacturing, but she saw that as a plus. She said, what you don't know can become your greatest asset if you let it. Because she wasn't an insider, she came up with a product that all the insiders had missed. The industry veterans weren't trying to reinvent pantyhose. They thought they knew it all. Sara, not knowing what couldn't be done, went ahead and did it differently. For example, she insisted on a totally unique packaging for Spanx, bright red, bold, and fun, and positioned it in stores next to shoes instead of the lingerie section. The established companies thought she was crazy. It turned out to be a brilliant way to reach women who didn't even know they needed her product yet. Sometimes, not having prior experience means you're not biased by the way things are supposed to be. Sara encourages entrepreneurs to use their inexperience as a competitive advantage. Rather than thinking, I'm not qualified, who am I to do this? Flip it. Because you're new, you can approach problems with a fresh perspective and boldness that seasoned folks might lack. Your belief in your idea has to be unshakable, especially in the beginning. When every expert told Sara, no one will buy footless pantyhose, she trusted the feedback that did matter, her own experience. She wanted the product and the reactions of real women that she talked to. In Spanx's early days, she personally went to stores doing demonstrations and asked customers for their input. She stayed close to the product and the people it served, not the naysayers. So if you have an idea burning inside you, protect it from premature negativity. Nurture it. Do your homework like Sara did. She spent 2 years patenting and prototyping in the evenings. But don't let a lack of credentials stop you. As Sara's story shows, innovation often comes from outsiders. Believe that you might see what everyone else missed. And remember her advice. What you don't know can be your biggest asset. Keep that beginner's mind and trust your gut. If you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description to go grab it. Let's start building real momentum in your life and business. I'll see you there. Build a mindset for growth. Building a billion-dollar company isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think. Sara Blakely is a huge believer that mindset and attitude are the X factors in entrepreneurship. Long before Spanx made it big, she was already training her mind for success. How? By feeding it daily with positivity, knowledge, and vision. When she was trudging door to door in that sales job, getting rejected left and right, Sara did something that I absolutely love. She turned her car into a mobile classroom of motivation. She says, I used to play Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy tapes on repeat in my car in high school and college. No one ever wanted to ride home with me. While other people were cranking music, Sara was literally reprogramming her brain with optimism and resilience. Those mentors from afar kept her spirits up for the next cold call. If she got kicked out of an office, she'd get back in her car and listen to something empowering to get into the right mindset for the next one. This habit was crucial. It meant that even though she was alone in a tough job, she wasn't really alone. She had virtual mentors coaching her every day. Sara also constantly pushed herself out of her comfort zone. Did you know she even did stand-up comedy at night during her fax selling years? She admits it terrified her, and that's exactly why she did it. She was training herself to do hard things and face fear head on. Little habits like that build tremendous confidence. So by the time she started Spanx, she'd already walked on metaphorical hot coals. In fact, Sara later attended seminars like Tony Robbins, where she literally walked on coals and dug into personal development. All of that work on herself created a mindset where she expected success and wasn't afraid of challenges. So think about your own mindset and habits. Are you surrounding yourself with positivity and growth like Sara did, or are you letting fear and doubt run the show? Here's a huge insight from Sara. She says you must connect to a purpose bigger than yourself. In a recent event with Tony Robbins, Sara got emotional talking about the power of knowing your why. She said when you know why you're doing something, when it serves others or fulfills a big mission, you'll find the courage you never knew you had. For her, Spanx was about helping women feel confident. That purpose pulled her through the low points. So find your why. Why does your business or idea matter to you and to the world? When the purpose is clear, the grit comes naturally. Also, celebrate your wins, big and small. Sara talks about how she bought herself a cheap $75 purse to celebrate the first time she saw Spanx on a store shelf. She marked the moment. You better believe that reinforced her motivation to go get the next win. Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster, so intentionally focusing on progress keeps you in the game. The bottom line is that success is an inside job first. You have to program your mind for resilience, confidence, and optimism daily. Read inspiring books, watch videos, and hey, you're doing it right now. Surround yourself, physically or virtually, with the people who uplift you. Sara did it with cassette tapes and seminars. You have even more access today with YouTube and podcasts and different online communities. There's no excuse not to flood your brain with the good stuff. This is how you build an environment and habit of greatness, and you're already on the right track. By watching content like this, you're feeding your mind the same way that Sara did. Keep doing that consistently, and you'll develop the mindset muscle to match your hustle. Your turn. Take the leap. Sara Blakely's journey from failed salesperson to billionaire inventor is proof that you don't need to have all the answers to start. You don't need permission. You just need an idea you care about and the courage to keep going. Sara likes to say she lives an entrepreneur life, which to her means with the right mindset, you can live a life much bigger than you ever imagined. I want you to remember that. The next time you get a crazy idea or face a setback, think of Sara. Cutting up pantyhose on her apartment floor, hearing her 100th no, driving around with motivational tapes blasting, chasing a vision no one else could see. That's the spirit of an entrepreneur. It's scrappy, bold, and a little bit weird, and it wins. So what idea are you sitting on? And what are you going to do about it? Maybe it's not fully formed yet. That's okay. Write it down like Sara did. Start somewhere. Make a prototype in your living room. Try selling to one customer. Expect that you'll fail and mess up and hear no a bunch. It's all part of the journey. But also know this. Every time you face a fear or overcome an obstacle, you grow. You become the kind of person who can achieve those crazy big goals. I'm willing to bet that your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of one of those failures that you've been afraid of. So don't be afraid to embarrass yourself a little. Don't be afraid to knock on doors, even if they slam in your face. Every attempt is getting you closer. And hey, look at you here right now, learning, improving, investing in yourself. This is what winners do. I'm proud of you for showing up and feeding your mind with something positive and productive today. Not everyone has the dedication to do that. Every video, every book, every action you take to better yourself and your business is compounding inside you. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. To watch the incredible entrepreneur story of Honda, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda Motors, was rejected by Toyota, lost his factory in World War II, and had an earthquake destroy everything he built. He was broke, humiliated, and at rock bottom.